If you enjoy stories about karma, compassion, and Buddhist wisdom, please consider subscribing to this channel. I create many videos like this to inspire goodness, understanding, a more mindful life. Thank you so much. Have you ever missed a miracle just because it didn't look the way you expected? A falling leaf, a stranger's smile, a strange accident on a quiet day. What if all these were signs from the divine, but we were too busy to notice? Let me ask you something strange. If a poor teacher runs into a burning school to save a child that isn't his own, is that madness? Or is that the moment when God breathes through a human soul? What if your worst day was actually someone else's miracle? There was once a man, nobody special, just a teacher. In a tiny mountain village, people called him weird. They laughed at him because every day he'd look up at the sky and whisper, "The divine is watching, even now." They didn't understand. They never did. But one day, they would. And when they did, some wept in regret, others knelt in silence, because in the end, they realized not all miracles come in shining light. Some walk beside us every day, we just don't see them until it's too late. In a quiet village nestled between foggy hills and whispering pine trees, there lived a teacher. His name was Elias. He wasn't a monk, he wasn't a prophet. He didn't heal the sick or walk on water. But what he did was see. He saw people in ways they didn't even see themselves. He lived in a small cottage behind the village school, a crumbling place, no windows in winter, no fans in summer. But Elias never complained to him. Every sunrise was a sermon, every child a divine soul. People thought he was strange because when he taught the alphabet, he would pause and say, "Even the letter A has karma. It always comes first, but never complains." The children giggled, the adults rolled their eyes, but one child listened. His name was Leo. No mother, no father, just an old coat with torn pockets and silence that made others uncomfortable. Leo barely spoke. He sat at the back of the class. The other kids teased him. Ghost boy, that's what they called him. But Elias never did one rainy afternoon. Elias found Leo shivering outside the school, soaked, hungry, alone. He took him in, gave him warm soup, dry clothes, and the first smile Leo had seen in weeks. That night, Elias didn't just tell him stories. He told him truth. "Leo, you are not empty. You are a cup waiting to be filled with light." Leo didn't understand then, but the words stayed like seeds. Years passed. Leo grew. Elias taught him more than reading and writing. He taught him patience, kindness, how to breathe before reacting, how to forgive even when it hurts. But fate does not always wait. One summer, a wildfire broke out in the valley. It came fast, swallowing trees, roofs, animals. The village panicked. Children screamed, parents ran, and Elias ran into the school. Someone shouted, "Are you crazy? The fire's coming." But he didn't stop. Leo was missing. Inside the smoke, Elias found him, hiding under a desk, frozen. In fear, he carried Leo out. Just as the roof collapsed behind them, they survived. But Elias was changed forever. Burns covered half his face. His voice, never the same. Some called him monstrous. Others couldn't bear to look at him. But Leo never looked away. He stayed. He changed his bandages. He read to him every night. And he began to understand what divine truly meant. It wasn't in temples or miracles. It was in devotion, in sacrifice, in a teacher who walked through fire for a boy who thought he was invisible. Many years later, Leo, now a respected doctor, returned to that village. He rebuilt the school, hung a portrait of Elias on the wall, and beneath it, carved in gold letters, were the words, "He saw God in me, so I saw God in everything." What makes a moment sacred? Is it the sound of temple bells, the scent of incense, the chanting of 1,000 monks? Or could it be something quieter? A hand reaching out in silence, a smile when no one's watching, a man who walks into fire. For someone the world has forgotten, Buddha once said, "Your work is to discover your work, and then, with all your heart, to give yourself to it." Elias discovered his work early. It wasn't just teaching letters, it was awakening souls. And in doing so, he didn't seek praise. He didn't ask to be remembered. He just lived as if every child was a future Buddha. Every breath, a prayer. Every act, a chance to plant good karma. You see, the law of karma isn't just about punishment or reward. It's about reflection. What you give out, even in silence, returns not always tomorrow, not even in this lifetime. But it comes. It always comes. When Elias gave Leo warmth, he didn't ask for loyalty. He didn't expect anything in return. But the universe saw, and so did Leo. In Buddhist teachings, there is a word, vipaka, the fruit of karma. Elias didn't live to taste the fruit, but he planted a forest, and one boy grew into a man who carried his light forward. The truth is, we don't need to be monks to follow the Dharma. We don't need robes to practice compassion. We just need to be awake to the sacred, hidden in the ordinary, to the divine, hidden in pain, to the moments disguised as nothing that carry the power to change everything. Elias saw God not above, but in every trembling child, in every broken voice, in every moment that asked him to choose between comfort and compassion. And he always chose compassion. Now, I ask you, have you ever paused in the middle of an argument and asked yourself, is this moment asking me to be right or to be kind? Have you ever wondered
if that beggar on the street was actually a teacher in disguise? The Buddha taught, a generous heart, kind speech, and a life of service are the things that renew humanity. Elias lived that truth, not with words, but with fire, with pain and love. So now, gently, I ask you, what are you planting? What karma are you weaving? Not with your thoughts, but with your hands, your eyes, your voice. Every moment is a seed. Will yours grow into light or into regret? You made it to the end of this story that means something. Maybe you saw a piece of yourself in Leo, the child who was forgotten but remembered by one soul. Or maybe you are Elias, the one who gives silently, patiently, who walks through fire and no one notices. To both of you, I see you, and more importantly, life sees you. Karma sees you, not in loud ways, but in the quiet moments when no one claps, no one thanks, no one even knows. That's when the seeds grow the deepest in this world. People chase fame, success, validation, but Elias, he chased meaning and found eternity in a single act of love. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you saw something divine in the middle of your pain? Do you believe that your small acts can ripple through the lives of others, even strangers? Some of you may say, this is just a story. But is it? Because somewhere out there, a teacher gave everything for a student. A mother skipped dinner to feed her child. A stranger smiled at you on your worst day, and maybe that saved you. You just never said it. So now, say it in the comments. Tell me, who was your Elias? Who changed your life without asking for anything in return? And if you can't think of someone, then maybe it's time for you to be that person to someone else. Be the one who listens, who holds the door, who stays calm when everyone else yells. Be the one who notices the quiet pain in someone's eyes, because the divine isn't found in lightning. It's found in the choice to be kind when no one's watching. If this story stirred something in you, let it move outward. Share this story with one person who needs light